Hello, welcome back to my channel. So I'm going to talk about quantum theory rules, basically the rules on electron configuration and also drawing orbital notations, and I have separate videos on those as well. So there's three main rules that you got to follow, and actually for the electron configurations we've already been following that rule just without knowing it. So the first rule is the Aufbau principle. So basically it means electrons must fill orbitals from lowest to highest energy. In other words, so this is like the textbook definition. In other words, if you think about a simpler definition, that means 1s is before 2s, which is before 2p, 3s, etc. So essentially, you gotta do, like when you're writing electron configurations, it's gotta be in order. You can't just do 1s and then 2p and then 3D and just go all over the place. So Aufbau principle is just from lowest to highest energy. So the lowest energy level to the highest energy level. So you just basically just do it in order. That's pretty much what this rule is saying. All right. So Hund's rule is when you draw orbital notations, electrons, or when you draw arrows in the orbital notations, it occupies each orbital in a single manner before you pair them. So I like to call it the apartment or the house rule. So for example, if you have like 1s2, 2s2, 2p3, right? So obviously 2p3, that's not a full p orbital. So when you draw the orbital notation for that, so the correct way of drawing the orbital notation is when you do 1s2, 2s2, and then 2p3, I fill in all these orbitals first before I go back and refill, pair the arrows. So again, I like to call it the apartment rule. So let's say I've got, a 3-bedroom apartment and I've got 3 people in it, right? Would you all like bunk into one room, or 2 people share one room and then one person has its own room? No, like in a perfect world, you would each of you would have your own room. But then let's say a 4th person comes in to share the house or the apartment. That's when you come in and pair. That's when you come in and bunk with each other. All right. So this is what 2p4. So that is the correct way of filling it in. So the incorrect way, you're violating the Hund's rule, is when you have that same electron configuration. For example, oh, I don't have to write that. Let's say you do that and then you do 1, 2, 3. See, that violates the rule. So that is wrong. So just keep that in mind with filling in the orbitals in that correct order. So like empty, 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 and then if you need to go back and then refill those. So that's the Hund's rule, aka the apartment rule. And now, the last but not least, we've got the Pauli exclusion. I also like to call it like the batteries rule. So this is really simple. You've probably already seen it that I drew the arrows in opposite directions. So electrons spin in opposite directions. That's pretty much it. So for example, if I have like just 1s versus this 1s, right? So you gotta draw it as up, down. So that's the correct way. If you do up, up, or down, down, that is wrong. All right. So like the electrons are like spinning like that in opposite directions instead of like together. Okay. So this is just the rules that you need to keep in mind of when you're drawing orbital notations, and especially here when you're doing the electron configurations in correct order. But yeah, that is pretty much it. I hope this makes better sense on distinguishing between the 3 rules. But yeah, thank you for watching. Have a great day.